Good morning, Intenders.
Good morning.
Welcome back to Morning Intentions. Today is Monday, March 16th. We hope you had a lovely weekend. I think you did. I know I did as well.
I worked hard outside and it was lots of fun.
I love being outside, working in the yard on my weekends. It's such a difference because we do spend a lot of time indoors during our work week, so it's lovely to get outside and move our bodies.
The only downside is we both are struggling with allergies today.
Oh my gosh, with the wind and blowing in my face, while fun, yes, I did end up with some pretty serious allergies, so we may sound a little nasally today. And Annette's going to say, you don't need to try to sound nasally.
I think
you
we already do.
So, with that, we're continuing on with our month plus of codependency. And Annette, you wanted to share something about our time schedule.
I wanted to remind us the way we're approaching Too Much by Terry Cole is different than we have approached book studies in the past. We've done book studies in the past, but we just would pick out highlights. And I think you would maybe categorize those as a book summary. But this is not a book summary. We wanted to take a deeper dive because high-functioning codependency is more prevalent in our life experience than we may realize. And as we go through this, you may not relate to it. Like Ada doesn't relate to high-functioning codependency, but she also has a high-functioning codependent mom. And so it doesn't matter whether you are actually the active or recovering high-functioning codependent. Maybe your partner is, maybe your mom is, maybe your dad is, maybe your boss is. It could be anyone, maybe your sibling is. And understanding how this shows up and the depth in which we're approaching this, I believe, and I know you do too, Ada, this will be helpful. An example would be what we talked about last Friday. There was this idea that maybe a high-functioning codependent could be being sinister and wanting people to depend on them. And when you find out that's not it at all, that's not at all where the high-functioning codependent is coming from. What they're coming from is a place of love and trying to do the best they can. They may not know when they've gone too far or when they're stepping into somebody else's lane or somebody else's side of the street. So just really wanted to remind everyone that we are taking a deep dive in Too Much by Terry Cole. Sometimes deep dives can feel a little uncomfortable, especially if the material resonates. You think, oh my gosh, really? This is what's been going on all these years? If you need to take a little break and say, I'm not going to worry about this for a while, that's fine. But the information will be here when you want it. And for those that are just starving for information, is like, oh my gosh, this has been my mom for all these years. I want to understand my mom. Then you've got it, or yourself. This is really going to fit in today because we're going to start talking about blueprints. If you're a client of ours, you know that we talk about Terry Cole's teaching when it comes to boundary blueprints. And a blueprint is what's been modeled for you in your life. So we're going to talk about high-functioning codependency models and blueprints. And before we got into that, I just wanted to remind everyone there is a reason we're taking our time here with all of this.
For me, as the resident not codependent or the non-high-functioning codependent, what this book has done is allowed me to have more compassion and understanding for you as my mom and for other people that we've met who are deep into codependency. I didn't think you were sinister. I want to throw that out there immediately.
But people can, though.
People can, and I've seen that where people think, oh, this person's so controlling. They just want to control every aspect of my life. I always knew in my heart, I don't think so. I've probably talked to them and said, I don't think so. I think they just really love and care about you. They just show it in a way that maybe doesn't work for you, and you should speak up and tell them, I love you, I care about you, I know you love me and care about me too. Let's find a different way to relate that we can love each other more. So I always knew that, but this has given me words to it. It's given me more understanding because I don't have a lot of insight into the codependent mind, and some of these things I could witness from a third-party perspective and say, why would you do that? Where is that coming from? And now I know. Now I can see it. Oh, this is what is going on. It's not controlling, and then I could explain to other people better. It's not controlling. It's love, that the form of the love, not the content, is too much, and it's not working for you, but let's not get rid of the content. Let's just change the form.
Let's talk about the high-functioning codependent blueprint. If you're following along in the book, we're on chapter 3. As I mentioned just a few minutes ago, a blueprint is what's been modeled for you in life. Yes, that means your parents, but that also means everything else you've witnessed. Codependency and high-functioning codependency is highlighted in many forms of media, whether it is a quick social media post or a show. I remember, and I love this show, I will say.
I think I know which one you're going to talk about.
Oh my goodness, Parenthood. If you've watched Parenthood, we were actually taking Terry Cole's training and watching Parenthood at the same time. That's a beautiful show. There is so much love. But oh my goodness.
There is so much codependency.
Oh, and there's so much high-functioning codependency in there. They're running around trying to do all their things and then take care of people.
Especially the eldest brother.
Yes. You can see that in a show, and then you think, oh, should I be doing that?
It's held up as something good.
Yes, I should do that. And then we're off and running. So it doesn't have to be parents. And I want to make sure that we're clear about that because remember, there's 85% of Terry Cole's work that I like. One thing.
I think we're on one of the 15%
well,
right now.
I'm going to highlight something. So in this chapter 3, she talks about when we're children, we watch others behave. We are on the receiving end of how others treat us, and we can witness and see high-functioning codependency in action. Okay, I get that. But what I don't, and I object to this no matter who says this, she also has a section on page 62 where she's talking about functional versus dysfunctional family systems. Okay. I'm going to say that, yes, of course, there are dysfunctional family systems. If there's a lot of addiction going on and kids are going hungry and the parents' addiction is keeping them from being able to provide for their children, as one example, okay, that's dysfunctional. But what I don't like, and this kind of rubs me the wrong way, and I see this frequently in more self-help books, and I don't really appreciate self-help books as much as I do more personal development books. Self-help books, remember that they focus on one concept.
That's the whole problem.
That's the whole thing. And if you fix that, well, then you fixed everything. But that's not it. They don't look at all of life as a whole. Self-help, while yes, it can be helpful in some instances, I like more of a personal development frame of mind. That's why I like being a personal development coach, because you're looking at the person's entire life and the entire experience that they've had. Ada, remember when we had been reading John Bradshaw's books and Healing the Inner Child was something that we were focusing on, and then we decided to watch a series about the family. A question was asked in that series, have you ever met a healthy family, the family that you're holding up as the standard? Like, this is how a family should be. And his answer was no. So all that he has been teaching for years, I'm not discounting that, but he's holding up the standards that's not attainable when we're humans. Dad's going to have problems. Mom's going to have problems. Kids don't need a perfect childhood. They need to know that their parents love them.
That's more important than anything.
And so even when I see in a book like this, functional versus dysfunctional family systems, then some kid who they're disgruntled about their parents are going to say, oh, see, my family was dysfunctional. I don't like that. Did your parents love you? Did your parents do their best to provide for you? Did your parents treat you with respect on most days, except for maybe they were having a bad day? Slipped up a little bit? I do not like the labels. I don't like the labels of a narcissist. I don't like the label of dysfunctional or functional, because then that's what we're looking at. We're not saying, well, okay, mom really loved us. She was struggling a little bit. Dad really loved us, but he didn't know that he didn't have to work all day, every day, like he saw his parents work, because we were no longer in the Depression. When we get into labels, I don't like it.
So I do have some things to say to support what you're saying here, but we are out of time for today.
Oh, we are. I was just getting started.
I know, and I can tell you're on a roll, so time out.
Okay,
we'll be back tomorrow.
Time out. We'll be
and
back
we'll have
tomorrow.
more of a conversation, because this actually flows well from what we were talking about last week.
Okay, I can wait till tomorrow. It's hard for
You
me,
have
but
to.
I will.
You don't have a choice.
Okay, but I have to say one more thing, because I don't want anyone to get the wrong idea. I know there is dysfunction, and I know there is trauma. But when everything can be labeled as dysfunction or trauma, then we don't really focus on the dysfunction and the trauma. That's why I don't like the labels. I don't want to leave today without clarifying that.
Thank you for clarifying that. And our intention for today is a reflection question. What is my relationship with labels? What is my relationship with labels? Thank you so much for joining us today. Our day is better because you are part of our day. See you tomorrow.
See you then.